This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harris. We love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, you can make a contribution to our Karma Jar or become a show sponsor. If you'd like more information, visit our website. Hey there, everyone. Today's featured guest is Ira Marlowe.
Welcome to Live from Base 6.
Isn't me, I said to the voices in her head, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. The prince she hoped to meet got stuck in traffic, now it's up to me. I'm sorry. Things I haven't had a bite to eat since morning, and it's not my drama anyway. But give me just a moment to prepare myself. I will save the day. I will save the day. At last, the new catastrophe she ordered. Where do I sign? Where do I have to be to keep a step or two or three ahead of all the bedlam she ordered? She hasn't had a drop to drink all weekend, adding to the disarray. Give her just a moment to restore my trust. I will save the day. I will save the day. And I'm gonna do like I say now. Swing from a chandelier. Everything's crystal clear to heroes, I suppose. Once upon a time, I knew a pretty borderline, she told me. I don't know what I'm doing here, it's not a friendly place. So you gotta find yourself a brave face, she told me. And I haven't had a drop to drink all morning, and I'm doing fine, that's all they say. It's alright, but I've been up all night trying to save the day. I will save the day. I will save the day. Look up in the sky, what can it be? I will save the day. It's a bird, it's a plane, no, just me.
So Ira, tell us about the song we just heard, Save the Day.
That was inspired, it's sort of a composite of several insane girlfriends who were beautiful and smart and a little crazy. And I think I finally learned, but I would think, oh, I can help them. I can make them better. And inevitably, they just made me worse and they made me crazier. And I got to the point where it wasn't working and I moved on. But yeah, it's about a dysfunctional relationship.
It sort of felt like the codependent anthem.
Exactly.
You know, yeah, I thought so too.
Exactly. I once had a manager, when I first wrote the song, who said, no, say it's about the triumph of the human spirit. Stay on message.
So I don't think I know the answer to this, but where are you from originally?
There's no short answer. I was born in Chicago, then Terre Haute, Indiana, then Cleveland, Philippines, Haddonfield, New Jersey. After I say the Philippines, people generally say Army brat, right? But my parents were actually college professors, anthropologists, and according to them, always looking for the next big thing, the next good job. And I always say that we were run out of town. But anyway, then Philadelphia for a good long stretch, about 6 years, from like 10 to 15. And then Richmond, Virginia, on and off for 10 years, including a year in LA with my first band, which is what Going West is about, and a year or two in New York, and then out to San Francisco after that. So, and what it was like, it was weird. You know, it's kind of, I definitely think it had an effect on my psyche, living in 6 different cities before I was 10. You know, always new schools, always new friends I didn't know, and you know, and so I mean, people ask where I'm from, and I'm definitely from the Bay Area at this point because I've lived here by far longer than anywhere else.
This is your longest shot at this point, yeah. And you haven't been run out of town yet, which is...
No, but I still get itchy. You know, if things aren't going well, it's like it's the Bay Area's fault.
That's
somewhere else I can go.
Amongst all your travels, what type of music were you listening to?
My parents generally listened to Broadway, which is, for better or for worse, a huge influence, and folky stuff. I mean, Peter, Paul, and Mary and Puff the Magic Dragon were huge. But I must have been really into music when I was starting very young, because like I believe for my 4th birthday, and this was when I was in Terre Haute, Indiana, I got a record player. And I had a record by some kid singer named Tom Glazer. And I loved this record, and then it disappeared. And my mother said, yeah, it fell down and broke. She later confessed that she'd thrown it away because she could not stand to hear it anymore.
Yeah, if he plays that one word. Yeah.
And I wish I could say that it's just little kids who play their records over and over again. But I remember then in high school, like being really into Bowie and Queen, and my father saying the same thing. Do you have to listen to that same song over and over and over again?
Yes,
I do.
We're about to play Going West. And I know that under great duress, asked you to play this tune again. And I know it's been around, you've played it like probably 100,000 times at this point in time. But it is an amazing song. Tell me a little bit about it.
This is about my first band, which was in Richmond, Virginia, and pretty much overnight became very, very popular. We were, just all 20 years old, fresh out of high school. And we met some guy at a show who was British and very charming and told us we were the best young band he'd ever heard, and he knew everyone in Los Angeles. And we believed him, and we said, yes, this town's too small for us, and we packed the van and drove 3,000 miles into a complete disaster. We had our equipment ripped off. We were living in this just horrific, tiny hovel without jobs, without money, without, and it took me some time, about 10 years after that, to realize that it was worth it just for the trip we made across the country. And just for the experience of being that young and that green and bound for glory. And we did stop in Winslow, Arizona, which I mentioned in the song. And we also made a stop in I believe it was Tucumcari, staying with a relative of our bass players. And they had this collection of bluegrass instruments. So we donned the fiddle and the banjo, and then we made it out to LA, and it was, as I said, a nightmare, but got a song out of it.
Peter bought the van, and we drove it off the lot. Mr. Sincerity in a moment of charity said, how much have you got? It was a 1963, and the paint was kinda gone, but the seats rolled back and the radio worked and the damn thing seemed to run. And it was time. Jimmy climbed aboard and we loaded up the gear. Chap-tone drums and threadbare amps, and we're just loud enough to hear. It was 3 against the world as we left that one-horse town to lock our horns with the city of angels, and nothing could slow us down. Driving down the road, I could have sworn I heard a voice that seemed to follow me. It said, hold on to this time in some corner of your mind, 'cause you'll never be quite so free or quite so strong. You'll never be quite so brave or quite so young. Remember how it feels. Rolling through the South, Nashville, Tennessee. A room for one, and then came the fun of sneaking in all 3. And in Warner, Oklahoma, we put our Stetsons on, and we stood out on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, and acted out that song. Driving toward the sun, I could have sworn I heard that voice. I thought I heard it say, as you pass through every town, better take a good look around, 'cause you'll never be back this way. Back in time, you know you're gonna leave this place so far behind. Remember how it feels. Just remember how it feels. Bought the van and we drove it off the lot. Mr. Sincerity in a moment of charity said, how much have you got? Driving down the road, I could have sworn I heard a voice that seemed to follow me. It said, hold on to this time in some corner of your mind, 'cause you'll never be quite so free or quite so strong. You'll never be quite so brave or quite so young. Remember how it feels.
When did you get into writing songs?
You know, I think my very first inspiration, I actually started writing songs before I played guitar. I would write songs in my head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and and sing them to my sister. I wrote a song when I was about 10 called "I'm Glad I'm Alive," which is actually sort of about like childhood depression because the lyric is like, I'm glad I'm alive today. I'm glad I'm alive today. I wished I was dead yesterday, but I'm glad I'm alive today. Yeah, there was a sort of red flag there. Mom didn't notice. But in more seriousness, around high school, I started sitting at my dad's typewriter and writing lyrics. And I would sit there and I would try to put them to music and I'd go, I can write lyrics, I can't write music. This is terrible. And it finally occurred to me the reason that my melodies all sounded the same was my lyrics all had the exact same rhyming pattern,
cadence,
the exact same cadence, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't know jack about theory or chords or anything either. But sometime after that, I guess I wrote my first halfway decent song when I was around 18. I was playing in this cover band and I was trying to get them to play them. They're like, nobody wants to hear originals, you know. Just keep playing Freebird or whatever.
Yes.
And then I got my two best friends together, which became this band, The Rage, I talked about in Going West, and we pushed the originals, and we did really well. You know?
Well, I can tell that lyrics have always been your strong suit. That has always been, because that's what got me about your stuff all those years ago when I first met you, and Going West was one of those tunes that got me was because of the lyric content of it and how you turned each phrase. It was really amazing. What is your life like these days?
Well, about 5 years ago, quite by accident, after the third failed major label record deal I'd been through, I was finally discovered, but not in the way I had hoped for. And somebody hired me to write a bunch of kids songs for the Learning Company, who do like Reader Rabbit and Dora the Explorer. And it was really fun and really easy because I like lyrics, because I tend to tell stories in my songs and like to use humor. Came really easily, and I made a bunch of money. Like by far at that point, the most money I'd ever made, you know, from anything musical. And so I started my own little company called Brainy Tunes.
What is the width and breadth of your catalog here at this point?
I have 5 kid CDs now. I have 2 adult CDs that are officially released. I have like at least 3 or 4 more, including a country CD that are produced on CDR. So basically I make them on demand for anybody who asks for one. And my newest CD, 2 of the songs that I'm playing today, Going West and Something Happens, are on my newest CD, which is called Lucky, which as of now is just available through my website as a download. Either single songs, you can download the whole thing.
And we can get you on like iTunes and... Yeah. We're about to play Something Happens, and this is another interesting one. I'm curious about the origins of this one.
Well, what I hadn't realized, you know, when we talked beforehand about what songs we'd play, that I had 2 road songs. I mean, I've probably written 4 road songs in my life, and so 2 of them I'm playing here today. So I do write other types of things. But this one, it's a narrative. It's not. I didn't really go through any of this, but. You know, it's really a metaphor about Going West, which we've already played, you know, is about being young and saying, you know, the world is my oyster. This song is being older and saying, the world is not my oyster, apparently. You know, but it's about making peace with it and sort of realizing, you know, there's that old line, want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You know, and that's sort of what it's about. It's like, you know, you live long enough, and to me, what Something Happens means is you learn to let go. You just learn to say, okay, that's fine, whatever.
The oyster's full of sand. Okay,
exactly.
I got it. Yeah.
Pearl will come in one of these days, maybe.
Yeah.
Or not. Yeah.
Broke down on 80, cursing like a flare. Luck was a lady, fake breasts and platinum hair. The rain was coming down, sheets of broken glass, banging on the overpass. Live long enough, live long enough, live long enough. Something started out so easy. is another word for the story goes, I took what I could carry, now wishing it would snow. Live long enough, live long enough, live long enough. Something happens. Moses climbed the mountain, still he paid the price. 40 years of wandering on the wrong side of paradise, the wrong side of paradise. Caught a ride to Vegas, got a room for two. Luck's gonna shake us upside down until we're through with all the wishing, through with all that weight, freer than the interstate. Live long enough, if you live long enough, live long enough, something happens.
All right, we'd like to thank today's featured guest, Ira Marlowe, for coming and playing his great tunes with us. For more information on Ira and how to get a hold of his great music, go to our website and visit the Live from Basics show page, and we'll have all the links to all his stuff there for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.